What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a showcase of my newest rank 3 on my free-to-play account, Jack-O-Lantern. Yes, I just did make my webcam a little smaller, and yes, I am moving it slightly to the left. Sorry, I don't mean to disrupt the flow. Now I moved it to the right. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Don't pay attention to that. That's not relevant. What's relevant is my rank 3 Jack-O-Lantern. This guy is awesome. I really enjoy using him, and I thought he would be a perfect rank 3 for my free-to-play account. You know, not a champion that I want to immediately take up on my main account, but somebody I would absolutely love to have at the highest possible level on my free-to-play account. So, I just have a couple of gameplay clips here to show them off. Of course, we have the standard Realm of Legends Winter Soldier to fight first, and Jack-O-Lantern, like, he does okay in this matchup. He definitely would feel better with some decent crit RNG, but, you know, against Winter Soldier, who's not very aggressive, you can't really go for your intercepts. There's not a lot you can do to speed up the time. You'll see in the fights that precede this clip that he does get a lot faster in short and medium form content, and he's actually able to do some fairly long form content as well. You'll see that at the end of the video. But again, this is just a short little showcase, a Jack-O-Lantern like introduction and overview of like, hey, where he works, where he shouldn't work maybe, and why he's a good character. And the simple explanation of why I believe Jack is a good character is his simplicity and his consistency. So, when Jack-O-Lantern first came out, I acknowledged that he had very good damage and that he was a very good counter to Onslaught. But I didn't really see past that until a couple of months after his release, and I'm seeing people using Jack in a lot of different places. That's a minute and 2 seconds, by the way. You can't see it from the cutoff, but that is a minute and 2 seconds. I've seen Jack used in a lot of places. Like, he's a fantastic champion for Alliance War and Battlegrounds. He just nukes health pools in a single special 2. And you'll see that in this Battlegrounds health pool simulation here, where I'm using my rank 3 Jack, and these opponents are dying in a single special 2. So he's very good for that short form content, and because he can ramp up those inflame charges and consistently keep them paused, each inflame charge, if you're not aware, increases his critical damage rating, and it might increase the potency of his damage effects. I'm not sure, but I know for sure that it increases his critical damage rating. And so I only have 3, one of my max is 15, and this 300,000 health Elsa Bloodstone is already dead. That would-be crit was over 12,000 damage. Yeah, Jack feels pretty good in short form content. In content, you know, with 350,000 health or less, I know some champions in like Battlegrounds have 400,000 health, but most champions don't have 400,000 health. So for content around 350,000 health, Jack-O-Lantern does exceptionally well. In content, a little above that, in like 500, 600, 700,000, I think Jack still does fine. I'm getting clobbered by Daredevil here. He's the best defender, confirmed. I think Jack still does fine in health pools beyond that. I just think he takes a little bit longer, and honestly, it's not that big of a deal because he is super consistent. And once you ramp up those inflame charges, all you need to do to pause them and keep them ramped is to intercept. And if you run out of charges, you can either use a special one and gain 3 or 4 from that, or you can just intercept a lot, and your critical hits, or your would-be critical hits, because Jack doesn't land crits, will give you charges towards your next inflamed passive. Now, one thing that I'm going to show off at the end of this video is something to do with his inflamed passive. It's utility-based. I'm going to show this off in like just a second here. I want to let the whole video kind of play out, and then I will show off a piece of utility that his inflamed passives bring to the table. And it's great for Onslaught, obviously, but it's also good in other situations, and I'll show you at the end of the video what I mean by that. But inflame passives are very nice to have. Just, I say that. The inflame passives are great little pieces of utility that you wouldn't think were super useful, but honestly end up being quite good. So I think Jack-O-Lantern is just an all-around beast. I don't think he's the best tech in the entire game, but I think he's one of the most solid tech champions released in a while. He doesn't need some flashy combo. He doesn't require some high skill rotation where you can't pull it off in every situation. All you need to do with Jack is use your special 2 or use your special 1 and then your special 2, and the fight is pretty much over. And if it's not over, you just keep repeating your special 2. And that's kind of the end of the day with Jack-o'-lantern. If you've already seen my beginner champion friendly video, I mentioned Jack-o'-lantern was in that list. He was in that upper echelon for beginner-friendly champions, and I totally stand by that. I think this simplicity that Jack-o'-lantern brings to the table is second to none. He really is just so easy, so simple to use, and is so consistent. The damage is just so nice, you know? This is Guillotine 2099, who is immune to one of Jack-o'-lantern's debuffs, and it doesn't really matter. We still got the Incinerates off, and I believe that's her down in, I think, less than 50 seconds. I think it's around 40 seconds for this fight. Yeah, 41 seconds on the dot for this fight. So, good stuff from Jack-o'-lantern here. But this is the content I was talking about with long-form health pools. This is the Autumn of Agony Gauntlet that just came out a couple of days ago. This is Jack-o'-lantern doing the entire right side. All of the right side is just done by Jack-o'-lantern. So he definitely has the range for health pools in the millions. I wouldn't say he is an Everest content champion, but long-form content, which in my barometer of comparison for health pools, long-form content is anything above 1 million, but probably below 2.5 million. I consider that long-form content, and Everest content is 2.5 million and above, at least in my opinion, you know, because they're obviously Labyrinth of Legends is considered Everest content, but there are some health pools in there that are lower than, you know, 2 million. So I think this is perfect long-form content, and Jack-o'-lantern does very well here. I mean, you're going to see that some of these fights are not slow. This first fight and then the third fight and the fourth fight are actually exceptionally fast for Jack-o'-lantern, you know? Gotta stay hydrated. But you're gonna notice that this first fight here against Jabari Panther goes pretty quick, and then the next couple of fights, I know Cassie takes a little bit longer just because she's kind of annoying to deal with. But the Heimdall fight and the Northstar fight are super fast for Jack-o'-lantern. So he does exceptionally well in content like this. And I really am looking forward to using him in, you know, EOP-style content going forward, because he really is just super fun, super consistent, and the way he deals damage makes him pretty unique. So this is the Jabari Panther. We haven't even been in this fight for 2 minutes, and she is already basically dead. So I just need to bait a single special 2 here, go for a light ending combo, and those inflame passives are maxed out at 15. My would-be critical hits are dealing 13,000 burst damage on top of a 3k basic hit. That was 1 minute and 52 seconds for 1.1 million health against that Jabari Panther. It might have even been more. It might have been like 1.3 million. But this fight right here, this is Jack's worst fight. Now, he was an objective champion for the week of this fight in its original release. And even for that fight, I did use him at rank 2, and he got it down in about 5 minutes, which is definitely fine for content like this. It definitely goes faster now that he is rank 3, and I've got some synergies, and I'm lightly boosted here. But you wouldn't need the boost or the synergies to do any of this. It's just nice to have for the showcase, you know? Sometimes you want to show him off with a little extra firepower, and that's exactly what I wanted to do with Jack here. No pun intended, but definitely pun intended if you know what I mean. So, the name of the game here for Cassie, because she is immune to poison, we lose out on a lot of that damage from the special 2, but regardless, we still want to go for special 2. That is still the thing we want to do in this matchup. We get a nice heavy counter off from her special 2, and those Incinerates are dealing okay damage. I definitely feel the benefit of the War Machine pre-fight here, increasing the duration of those damaging debuffs by 20%. Now, I think eventually I get clobbered at some point in this fight. I don't exactly remember when that happens, but it definitely does happen because I go into the next 2 fights after this with pretty low health. So I don't exactly remember when I get hit, but it might be right around now. I don't remember. I recorded this just a couple of minutes ago, and, you know, I really should remember, but I do not. So, yeah. The timeline for recording stuff is sometimes a little strange because I'll record things and then instantly go into doing the capture for it and recording it for a video, and I'll forget what happens within, you know, 15 minutes of recording a clip. But, you know, that is the life of a YouTuber sometimes. Oh, okay, so right here, I miss the special 2, or the special 2 misses, and I get clobbered in the face, and then I get hit again pretty soon here, I think. because I know I go down to like 30% here, so I don't know where else I get hit, but I definitely do get hit, and I finish this fight with relatively low health. But he's doing fine here. Like, he's not doing the best, but those would-be critical hits are dealing 16,000 damage with Max Inflamed, and even at 9 there, that special 2, or that basic hit was over 14,000 damage. So Jack-o'-lantern has the damage, man. He definitely has the damage, and while he might be lighter comparatively speaking on utility, he has enough utility where he's definitely defined as his own champion and works in a lot of situations. Also, the cherry on top is he's a great counter to Onslaught. So all of that combined, and then being a really good counter to Onslaught, being able to parry the non-contact attacks, just makes him a pretty fantastic character. And like I said, I have really come around on Jack. Yeah, I missed the intercept there. That's what happened. And then I think I take some more blocked hits. I'm not exactly sure. But I end this fight relatively low. It's around 35 or 31. I don't exactly remember. Yeah, I take a blocked hit there, and then I think I take some more blocked hits throughout the course of the finishing matchup here. And we get Cassie down, I think around 3.5 minutes, so definitely not the fastest, but Jack, for a fight that he's not super ideal for, he's still taking it down in the exact time was 3 minutes and 16 seconds. So honestly, not bad, all things considered. Considering that that's not an ideal matchup for Jack. 3-minute fight, not bad. So these next two fights are absolutely insane. I had no idea how good Jack was going to be for Heimdall until I did this fight. So you're going to notice here that that battery is already filling up pretty fast. That's because Jack's basic hits deal a lot of damage. That burst of incinerate damage really adds up, and you will notice that Heimdall kind of dies really fast. So that's something to keep in mind of, because Heimdall's health pool is going to disappear relatively quickly. I get a nice little counter from his heavy attack, and then I go for a heavy into my special 2, and already Heimdall is down to 80% health. That is already 20% of his health is already gone from a single burst of damage, and that was not including any special 2 damage. That was a knockdown after my special 2. Now he's down to 54%, and this fight is basically over already. So I don't land the heavy here for the pause during the cooldown of the window, because if you don't know, with this node, you can charge your heavy and pause the cooldown timer for the unstoppable thing. So I was trying to charge my heavy during his special 1 there to pause it so I could heavy counter it, but it didn't end up happening. It doesn't matter though, because I throw a special 2, I throw a special 1, and Heimdall is dead. That's it. He's gone. Jack absolutely annihilated that fight in 1 minute and 20 seconds. And then this fight's even crazier. This Northstar here. I had some trouble adjusting to this Northstar when I first fought him, but now I'm pretty comfortable with it. Jack-o'-lantern is amazing for this guy, because Jack-o'-lantern doesn't land critical hits. He lands replacement crits, or, the thing that champions like Guardian would land. He deals a burst of damage in replacement of the critical hit damage that would have been dealt. And that makes him fantastic for this Northstar. So all you really have to do with this Northstar is bait out his specials and then perform your specials during your dash. So already he's down to 93% just from my burst damage alone. You can just tell Jack has a lot of damage just from his basic hits, because this 1.3 million health Northstar is already down almost 10%. But now we throw the special 2, and Northstar goes from 90% all the way down to 42% in one single special 2. So all we need to do now is throw one more special 2, and Northstar is a goner. The one thing about this fight that makes it annoying is the tempo disruption after his special attack. That untouchable passive makes it a lot harder to maintain a flow and maintain tempo, because you have to wait it out and then, either get a sidestep from his medium or go in for an intercept and try and get an opening that way. So champions who bypass miss are definitely great for this fight. But Jack doesn't care, because we're going to go for a little intercept here, go for a relic. I'm going to dash back, dash in, and then special 2, and Northstar is gone. Au revoir, my friend. You are no more. That was 1 minute and 17 seconds. Crazy fight for Jack-o'-lantern. But before I end this recording, I do want to show something off really quick with Jack. So let's see. yeah, I can just get back into the game right here really quick. Luckily, I didn't show off anything. I was trying to use him for Gauntlet Doom, but it really wasn't working that well. I want to show something off with the Inflamed passive specifically. Now, obviously, you know he's a great Onslaught counter, and I'm not going to show that off right now because I'd rather just make that like its own sort of video. You've already seen a lot of Jack-o'-lantern versus Onslaught. I don't need to show you it again. You've already seen plenty of it. But what I do want to show you is something that happens with Bullseye. So, Jack-o'-lantern, let's read the kit a little bit here before we go into this match. The inflamed passives, right? The inflamed passive that Jack-o'-lantern has, they reduce opponents' damaging effects suffer 100% reduced ability accuracy when hitting Jack-o'-lantern's block during specials. So, what does that mean for Bullseye? Now, I'm not saying he's the best Bullseye counter in the game. That's not the claim I'm trying to make here. What I am saying is that you could use Jack-o'-lantern for Bullseye and actually be okay. Because all you do is block the special, and you never take any bleed damage, because the inflamed passive is going to reduce it all. So, Jack-o'-lantern can go straight to special 2 against the Bullseye, and never worry about ever taking bleed damage on the blocked hits of the specials, because the inflamed passive turns it off. And that's it. That's how you handle Bullseye with Jack. It's super easy, super simple. And I bet Jack could get up some decent times against Bullseye using that inflamed passive to your advantage. But that is all I wanted to show off today with my newest rank 3 Jack-o'-lantern. I really like this guy. I do have a Tech Awakening gem, but I don't think it is worth using on Jack. The Awaken ability is nice to have for some utility, specifically against Onslaught, but it is definitely not necessary. It is like 2% of his kit. 98, 99% of Jack. I'd even say it's like 1%. It's geared towards Onslaught, basically. That's like the entire impetus of the SIG is for Onslaught. So, Jack-o'-lantern is fantastic, and if you have Jack, I would highly recommend ranking him up because he is a fun character to use. First and foremost, he is enjoyable, as well as being very effective and very useful. So, thank you all very much for watching this video. If you liked it, and I really hope that you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting the like button. Both of those things help me out, and they help get the channel out there to more of an audience on YouTube, so I would be greatly appreciative if you could do those two things for me. Once again, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.